Hello, everybody.
Good evening,
Am I
ma'am.
audible?
Yes,
Good
ma'am. You're very
evening.
much audible.
Okay, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, everybody. We will start in, say, 5 minutes.
No worries,
Uh,
ma'am. Fine.
yes.
Good evening, Hema ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
We will be starting in the next few minutes. Should I start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can start.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I think we'll adhere to the timing. We had asked everyone to join sharp at 5:50, and we had told that we'll start at 6. So we'll actually start at 6, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
ma'am. Yes, very
Good
much.
evening, ma'am. Yes,
Am I
you're
Yes,
audible?
ma'am.
audible.
You're audible.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Yes.
Good evening.
I, Assistant Professor Shubhasha, the convener of this FDP, on behalf of our esteemed institution, Nyan Ganga Education Trust, Degree College of Arts, Commerce and Science, welcomes you all to the 5-day FDP on research methodology and techniques organized by IQSC Cell in collaboration with the Research Cell. This FDP wouldn't be possible without the support of our esteemed management and the motivation and ages of our respected principal, Dr. Bhavika Karkera ma'am. The topic of today's session is Introduction to Research, Topic Selection for Research, and Review of Literature. And with great pleasure, I welcome our today's resource person, Dr. Hema Mehta ma'am, who is the right person to equip you all with the basics of research and kindle the research fervor in you participants. Dr. Hema Mehta ma'am is an associate professor with Tolani College of Commerce from the last 20 years. She has a total experience of 37 long years. Ma'am is an MCom, PhD, LLB, DBM, UGC, SED, MA. The repertoire is long. And she has been felicitated with a plethora of national and international awards. Ma'am has published 42 research papers in various national and international journals and has been invited as a resource person for topics on gender sensitization, awareness on IPR, women empowerment, research, etc. Ma'am has bagged 9 Best Research Paper awards and she is a research guide too. It's an absolute honor to have Dr. Hema Mehta ma'am with us on board today for conducting this session and enlightening us. Over to you, ma'am. But before that, I would like to all of us to take a group photo. So I kindly request all the participants to switch on their cameras and give a broad smile so that this can be in our memories. Manika ma'am, Padma ma'am, once it's done, kindly let us know.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Padma
Done,
ma'am,
ma'am.
Manika ma'am, done.
Done, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Over to you, Hema ma'am.
Thank you, Shubha ma'am. I would, at the very first instant, would like to thank your esteemed management, your principal, who is very cooperative and she gives more importance for the research, which is one of the need of the hour for the new learners. And the right and the app topic being selected because this is the very first topic which would be, like a guiding star for those who are planning to go for PhD or, start writing with the research articles. So, ma'am, can you grant me the permission for sharing the screen? Then I can start with my PowerPoint presentation. Yeah,
Please, ma'am.
yes, done. I think I'm able to share. Fine. Okay, so I'll go to the very first slide. Now, the topic that has been selected is very clearly talking about what should be the research, the clear understanding about the topic on research. Then the next part is once you understand or you're developing likingness for doing research, would be to select the appropriate topic. And lastly, when you have selected appropriate topic, you should be knowing how to start with the review of literature. So going to the second slide, I know making you tempting this hour, evening hour, so that you become very happy at the food for the thought. And it's like a general thing when we see some picture, there the very first, number of questions that are shooting out from our brain. Now, like what it is, whether it is a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian stuff, what are its ingredients, whether it has been baked or it is fried, whether it is too oily, and suppose if I want to prepare, how much time it would take, or if I'm not able to prepare, will I get it from some nearby shop? And if I am trying to make, what would be the total time that would be consumed, and whether it is going to be cost effective or not. There would be still many more questions coming in your mind. So whenever we are actually observing something and number of questions that are emerging in our mind, this shows that we do have the quality of becoming a researcher. It is not that, that under some pressure we are trying to do it, but it has to be your inner instinct. You are asking number of questions. I would like to share here before we start with the research. When I was hardly 6 years of age, I never had any of my elder siblings to allow me to play with them. So my grandmother always used to say that you come and sit with me, we'll play some indoor games. Now, she had some backbone issue and therefore her bed was at a good height so that she could comfortably sit. Whereas for me to sit on her bed, I have to keep my feet up and I have to climb. So always she used to shout at me, "Pair upar nahi rakhna hai." I said, "Okay, mitti wale pair hai, okay." Then when a child is made to sit at the corner of the bed, the child will start moving legs. And I had that bitter habit. I used to shake my legs and she used to get wild on me. And every time she used to say, "Stop doing this. This is not good for health." I couldn't understand what is good for health or bad for health. Anyways, after saying multiple times, one day she got very angry on me and she said, बेटा जब पैर हिलाते हैं ना, तो जो बच्चा पैर हिलाता है उसका मदर का डेथ होता है. It was shocking thing for me. I didn't wanted to lose my mother any time in my life. And I was in a state of shock. और मैं immediately दादी से मिलके जब घर पे आई, and I saw my father was at home. So I said to my father that how long are you going to be at home? He said मैं 2-3 घंटा तो हूँ. मैंने ठीक है, आप एक काम करो, खाट के कॉर्नर पे बैठ जाओ. And he said, I said अभी बैठ के पैर हिलाओ. And he did for 15 minutes. And then he's saying, can I stop now? I said, wait, I'm coming. I went in the next door, and I wanted to see whether something happened to my grandmother or not. Because she said ना, जो बच्चा बहुत continuously पैर हिलाता है, तो उसकी मदर की डेथ होती है. तो आज मैंने मेरे डैडी को बोला, पैर हिलाओ, देखना था दादी की डेथ होती है कि नहीं होती है. So that was, and my granny was surprised that I said her something and she thought of, trying it on someone to see whether whatever we are saying is right or wrong. So whenever we are coming across some such facts and we have an idea that नहीं इसमें कुछ missing है, या इसमें हम कुछ नया कर सकते हैं, something new I want to do, or I want to find out some new methods which will be very effective and less time consuming and will give better results. That means we have the quench of research. We have thirst of acquiring knowledge of research. So very frequently, this question comes, what exactly is research? I know when I had been asking to the learners, they used to say, ma'am, separate it, re and search. तो आपने सर्च किया, उसको बार बार आप सर्च करो, so it becomes research. Yes, in fact, I should say it is absolutely right. Research actually means we are trying to search number of facts in order to find answers to certain questions or to find solutions to certain problems. For example, in our home, if we see something, things are not happening properly, we are very keen to understand where something is going wrong or what we can do so that the things are going in a proper order. Okay, and that's the reason from the childhood, we had been, put into a system. That is, you wake up early in the morning, you do little bit of prayers, then you go to the washroom, then you brush your teeth, then mother will offer you a glass of milk or a cup of tea, and then you go for, bathing. And after that, you are again coming and doing your prayers, then you have your breakfast, and then you're ready to join your work. Ever we have tried to change the system? No, because this has been developed in us. So similarly, we are also always trying to find out the solution. The moment we see that somewhere something is not happening as per our framework, our mind, then in that case, it is very necessary that we should try to find out where something wrong is happening. Can we, solve? Can we understand what is the situation and how I can contribute something as a solution to solve that unexpected problem? So William C. Morey in his book, Business Research Method, he has very clearly defined research as any organized inquiry designed and it is carried out to provide information for solving a problem. I'll give a very simple example. There would be number of your friends and you would be having an interaction. Sometimes some friends would, ask you multiple questions. Like, are you working somewhere? What is your designation? What type of nature of job you are having it? Okay, what is the pay packet you're getting it? What are other additional qualities you have? Or, like what type of job you are able to perform efficiently? And we get annoyed. Why is this person asking so many questions? Maybe this person would be looking out for such person in his own office, or maybe someone would have asked your friend that if you know someone who is very good in this particular aspect, please recommend that person. We are badly in need of such a person. I'll give today's example. I just met with a girl who is pursuing company secretary, and she's not from a very rich family. But I just asked that how many brothers, sisters you have, and she said we are 4 sisters. And my elder
Hema,
sister,
ma'am.
yes,
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you kindly make the slide as full screen?
Okay. Okay. Just a minute. I'll
Thank you,
do it.
ma'am. Thank you so
No
much.
worries. No worries. I'll do it. I hope this is visible right now. Just a minute. Huh? Okay. Full slide is visible.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, ma'am.
Perfectly fine. Perfect. And if
Yes,
you want,
ma'am.
I can share this PowerPoint presentation, ma'am. I'll be sharing with Shubha ma'am. She can share with all the participants.
Thank
So
you, ma'am.
whenever, yeah. So need not worry ke chota dikh raha tha. I will give it. I don't have any intellectual property right on this. If it is benefiting to number of people, I'm very much happy. Fine. So, and all of a sudden she said that one of my sister is working in a corporate firm where she is looking after MIS. So I said, what is MIS? Purposely I asked her. And she said, ma'am, kuch to bhi wo pura din computer pe kaam karti hai. I said, it is managing information system. And I said, why is she working for corporate if she is looking out for some good hospitals, big hospitals like Hinduja Hospital, Jaslok Hospital, she will definitely get thrice her current pay packet. And she was surprised. So I said to her that this is why, because we never try to find out exactly where we are, we can find better opportunities. We need to search, keep on searching till we feel that I think beyond this, I cannot get any more information. So in-depth study, we need to find out. Only going through a particular term is not sufficient. You need to go in depth. I'll give you example. When I selected my PhD topic, I had actually taken in topic as entire Mumbai region. Luckily, I had some good guides who pointed out that getting information from entire Mumbai will not be easy because it is the most populous city. So I said what I should do. They said, where do you stay? I stay in a particular suburb. So you can perform your study in that suburb also. आपको जरूर नहीं पूरा मुंबई लेना है. You take, if you're staying in Daisar, you take off Daisar. If you're staying Mira Road, you take off Mira Road, and so on. Second point was, I was expecting I will get data of last 5 years. And the guide very clearly said me that people will not give you data so easily. So better is you put it as of last 1 year only. So this is how, when we discuss, when we share our problems, our ideas, our questions in groups, we have healthy discussion, then we are on the path of research. We are actually trying to find out answers for the problems which I have faced. I think, is the slide moving now? Just a minute. Yeah, fine. So what exactly is research? We say it is a scientific investigation. Now, without looking at the slide, see, whenever we are doing something in a very systematic and logical manner, it is known as scientific investigation. Okay, we never do, half investigation. We do in a proper method. Like if you are assigned some work, we know from where to start, what are the different processes, and where are we going to end. If we know that entire process, we follow the same sequence of process, we say it is scientific investigation. So research is always a very systematic and organized way of finding answers to questions. So whenever any questions are coming, even if we are little bit systematic, and I believe 100% कोई भी इस world में systematic नहीं है. But when we are following certain system, we try to find out, maybe my questions would be jumbled, but I'm trying to find out the answers. That means I am on the path of going to become more systematic. So when I'm talking about systematic, we have certain definite set of procedures and steps that we need to follow. Getting it? You see, I'll give a very good example. Many students approach me that, ma'am, can you become our PhD guide? So I said, आपने कुछ topic identify किया? नहीं, ma'am, आप ही बता दो. Recently, one of my friends, she said me that please guide me on which topic I should do. I said it always depends upon your observation, one, your area of interest. You would have seen something in your surroundings and you would have identified the problems that are persisting there, which you think no one has taken care of, no one has put in efforts to find the solution for that problems. and you are having hopes, you are confident that you will be able to find answers, then you go ahead for that particular topic. But before you make it finalization, what is very important is a pilot study, a small study need to be done. So there are lot many things. There are ample number of stages when we are planning, we are on the path of research. And only when we follow these processes properly within the prescribed time limit or the time limit that we have fixed, we are definitely going to get better results. I'll give one example. One of my friend took a topic on IT industry, the scenario of women's working in IT sector. This topic was selected in the year 2010. After 2010, there has been a drastic change. If you see, more women are now entering into IT sector. So she finished her PhD somewhat in the year 2020, around the COVID time. I said to her very openly, मैडम आपका रिसर्च अभी हमको कुछ काम का नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि 10 साल में बहुत कुछ चेंजेस आ गया. Nothing is left for you to say that you identified the problem and now you're presenting the solution which already has been implemented. So when you have a problem, you identified a problem, you need to fix a time that I will try to find out the solution, say for example, within 6 months. Like what parents used to do, parents used to see your unit test result, where when they found you were weak, they started to look for, giving guidance, or they even arrange for a separate tutor so that you are making your base very strong. 1 साल निकल गया, बच्चा फेल हो गया, उसके बाद आप ट्यूटर रख के देंगे तो उसका कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. द टाइम हैज बीन वेस्टेड. So that's the reason, you have to do everything within the prescribed time limit. You have to be very organized. Okay, you have to be very organized. थोड़ा अपने आप पे कुछ protocols आपको follow करना है. That okay, this is my planning and I will work as per this plan. Within 3 months, I will finish the review of literature. In 1 month, I will collect data. In another 1 month, all, analysis would be done. Okay, and maybe it may take some more time for me. I would have to interpret it. I have to think about valuable conclusions and recommendations. And when the problem has been identified, if I am doing in-depth study, deep study, I'm also able to make number of assumptions. Like, for example, one of the team of our students did a small research on awareness of women's rights among the college students. So one student did it to find out what is the awareness of women's right in arts college student. One did in commerce, one did it in science. Others, I said, you can also do in other various self-financing programs. While doing this, when they started learning that we are only considering some of the act, they were able to frame hypothesis, assumption on their own. They were successful in getting the answers also, that whether the girl child be in art stream, commerce or science stream, they are not aware about the 10 important women's rights. And we had added some additional question that suppose if we start with such some programs wherein they get 2 credits, are they interested? 85% girl students said yes, they are very keen because this laws will be helpful to them in very coming near future, not very far off also. So when you are having a very clear, you have identified the problem, you also know what assumptions I need to make, what type of questions I need to ask. Okay, and accordingly, what questions are very important. Asking too many questions also, people are not interested. We are very specific. You can ask me, say, for example, 10 questions. But if someone says, Madam, I want to ask 100 questions, I will say, sorry, boss, I don't have time. And maybe that 100 questions may not serve my purpose. So, therefore, very systematically, एक तो पहला planning, एक blueprint आपको बनाना. That yes, I want to start with my research work. I am seeing lot many things, and maybe, something would be where I find that's my interested area, where I can do something. you start learning or, reading about that particular factors. So what is research? Finding out in a more or less systematic way things you did not know. Okay, many things we do not know it. Many times people see us why we are doing something, why are the rituals performed, okay? Or how we are trying to, change the concepts and we bring out, something new which people are not aware about. So it will be involving many things which no one would be knowing it. And therefore, what are we trying to do is we are trying to advance our boundaries of knowledge. In other way, what we'll be doing, we will start collecting evidences, we will start investigating, start questioning, we'll start finding the answers. And sometimes we would be doing very in-depth study also. I'll give a very good example. I happened to meet a doctor, and the doctor narrated a story of an interior part of Maharashtra region. That how one fine day a farmer, he brought his own son in his arms and said to doctor that बच्चे का तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, आप उसका दवाई बताइए. And the doctor gave necessary medicines and injections. Suddenly doctor asked the question to this farmer, आपको कितने बच्चे? He said एक बेटा और एक बेटी. And she asked, what happens if suppose your daughter was not well? आप भी अपनी बेटी को ऐसे ही लेकर आते थे? And he said, no, बेटी है, हम तो घर का इलाज करते थे, घर का इलाज में, लेकिन बेटा है, बेटा तो वंश चलाता है. I do not know from where that concept has come. And you believe it that in last number of decades, that concept now is changing. That only son should be given importance, daughter should not be given importance. This concept, we are trying to change. So when, you are trying to do something in controlled environment, see one thing, human behavior, if you do experiment on human behavior, it is going to vary every seconds. And each individual is different from other individual. And therefore, some of the results are verifiable, some are not at all verifiable. Experiments on human beings cannot be done like what we were doing in our school days in physics and chemistry, where I know if one compound, element is mixed with another, what would be the final output. So very first, when you are thinking that, okay, I want to acquire knowledge, I want to develop better understanding, I like to collect information. A few days back, I attended one session. It was on Indian knowledge system, IKS, which is becoming now more important area under NEP. And the person, started showing certain slides. So I started saying, sir, this is a place in Gujarat, Modera. This is Rani Ki Vav and so on. Then he said, madam, aap ye sab jagah pe ho kya hai? I said, no, I have not been to all the places, but I tried to find out that what was the system hundreds years back when this type of, system was made for saving water for common people. Dams were not there in those days, but every king was a very responsible king. So we need to understand कि वो पहले के जमाने में पानी कैसे सेव करते थे. इतने लेक से रिवर से वहां से पानी आता था, या nearby king's kingdom, such facility was there. So when you are having certain interest, when you see a picture, you would like to investigate, okay, suppose I also want to do something like this. So when you start collecting information, that shows you have the quality of becoming a researcher. Okay, so Pauline, we young now, we being commerce student, mostly most of the faculties I hope present over here are from commerce, maybe from science also. I am considering this as a social research, as we would be involved in a very systematic way of doing things, either you can say in a logical way, or we would make a system for working in that particular manner, so that I am able to verify new facts, compare with the old facts, find out where there is a difference, or maybe I would try to find out whether there is some form of relationship, what we call it as interrelationship, or I may give some casual explanations. And on the basis of this, I may think of developing certain new, theories are there, or new types of tools are there, or maybe concepts which will be really helpful to the human beings, to the society. So when I am doing, I'm taking a step for going in this direction, it means I am on the path of research. I do not know how many of you have seen an English movie, Horror Men. Horror Men, I do not know how many of you seen it. It was a very good movie, which was actually based on youngsters who are the scientists. And they were, being appointed by their own government to make certain types of medicines, two-way process. One way, when injected in your body, you are, becoming invisible. And second, when injected, you come back to your original physical form. And they were so smart that they had discovered both the medicines, but one of the scientists, he denied at the last that still the process is, left, and it will take some more time to find out the reversal medicine. So we need to understand what is the nature of research. See, scientific method का मतलब ये मत समझना कि हम लोग को साइंस के तरीके से काम करना है. When I say scientific method, it means systematic method. Now, there has to be some objective when you are planning to come in the field of research. Mostly today, people are thinking कि हमको research करना है, हमको PhD करना है, PhD हो जाएगा, job अच्छा मिलेगा. नहीं. Becoming a good researcher is first priority. You need to have some objectives and logical objectives. That why I want to go in the field of research. Your entire thought process, आपका जो thinking process है ना, एकदम अलग ही हो जाता है. एकदम अलग हो जाएगा. जैसे एक ordinary बंदा सोचता है, आपका सोचने का तरीका वैसा नहीं रहेगा. You will be thinking in totally different way, which would be, surprising many of them. My God, we never thought about this question, right? They will say. So when you are planning to do in a very systematic way, you have some objectives, and you're doing some purposive investigation. Many times I do interact with many number of people to find out कि उनका actual profession क्या है, उनकी hobbies क्या है, currently where are they working. And my purpose of getting this information is that suppose if I'm able to help them, whether you can say directly, indirectly, I will do my best. So when I'm interacting with number of people, I collect many information from them. Then on the basis, if I think I have some, some good principles and theories, I would like to work on that, bring that theories into existence, right? And accordingly, we want that the person should use that theories for solving the problems that they are facing. Some days back, I saw a video, should be a boy in a coaching class. It was of Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal. He got a heart attack and he passed away in the classroom. So I used to think कि एक बच्चों के ऊपर एक बहुत बड़ा burden हो गया coaching class. नहीं जाता है तो बच्चा, parents are also confused whether the child is studying, whether he is comfortable with his own school or college or not. So they forcibly send the child to classes without understanding whether the child is able to bear that burden or not. Why are we trying to burden them? And luckily, some days back, I came across with a resolution that now children below 16 years of age will not be allowed to go for coaching class. A well-defined, we never had coaching class in our days. We used to have fabulous teachers who used to teach us in the classroom. And whenever we had doubts, we used to, seek permission that when can we come with our problems so that we get better answers. और ये कोचिंग क्लास मेरे हिसाब से 90s के बाद कुछ ज्यादा ही हो गया. And because of that, the child is not paying attention in class. And we blame teachers are not teaching. So that, you try to develop certain principles. Then research is multi-purpose activity. Why we are saying it is multi-purpose activity? Okay. Why are we saying multi-purpose? Because we'll find research and using scientific method is applicable in every aspect of our life. At every place, even in your society, there would be certain theories, principles, guidelines, which you need to follow. You have to stay in system, right? If you're going in temple, there also we have to follow the system. Within your own house also, you have the system that you need to follow. Manipulation of things or concepts. Lot many, sometimes we would be combining number of theories, number of concepts to see whether something new can come from that or not. And if that is the case, it would be surely helpful to solve us the new types of complex problems we are coming across today. Basically, talking about research, it could be either an applied research or basic research. So in case of applied research, what we do is we are trying to apply lot many theories. Problem. So every day you cannot, same type of steps or solution for sorting that problem. Your approach would be different. Okay. Now, social science, because I said we are dealing with a very complex human behavior. Even twins, you will not find to have same type of behavior. ट्विंस का भी बिहेवियर सेम नहीं रहता है. घर के अंदर 4-5 जन रहते हैं, उनका भी बिहेवियर आपको सेम नहीं मिलेगा, और हर सिचुएशन में उनका बिहेवियर सेम रहेगा ऐसा कोई गारंटी नहीं. Sometimes a person may cry in happiness. Sometimes a person may laugh in happiness. Sometimes there is no reaction when there are good news. And under such circumstances, when we are trying to study human behavior, it is, it cannot be brought under any type of experimentation. So that's the reason the next point says there's a problem of experimentation in social research. If you think I give some type of punishment to the child and there would be an improvement in the result, there is no such guarantee. Either the child may get 100% result or maybe the child would fail in the studies. So therefore, when we are involved in social sciences, we have to be conscious that how we are trying to, do the research when every human being has different behavior at different moment of time. And lastly, research is not one particular step. It is the entire process. It has many number of stages, which, in subsequent lectures, it would be reviewed. There was one question in the chat box I had been looking for. Someone was asking for, kindly explain research methodology, techniques, and tools. This is a part of this. This is a part of this program. And definitely it would be coming. Today being an introduction, you need to understand what exactly is research, because there are many such participants who have not even written single research article. They are trying to make an attempt that how I need to start. And there has to be some form of motivation that yes, we need to start with the research activities. So whenever we are involved with research part, we need to understand what will be the objectives of our research, right? So the first thing is we have identified the problem and we want to find solution to the problems. Okay, say for examples, during daytime, there is a traffic congestion happening on the main road. What could be the reason? Or maybe, the contract works which are taken for rebuilding of roads or whatever, it never gets completed on time. The project extends beyond a particular time limit. So you need to find out is a problem and you need to find out the solution. Maybe there are already some theories. See that theories you can apply. Yes, when I'm saying already some theories, you may not be aware. That's the reason we have the next part is review of literature. You need to seek information, obtain information. आपको बैठे बैठे कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, but you people are very lucky. Today, knowledge is at the tip of your finger. You are holding your cell phone for the entire day. By touching or, going to the Google search engine, you type whatever you require, you get multiple answers. You are able to search the solution also. But that much efforts you need to put in to find out what it means. One particular word would be having multiple meaning, and according to my current work which I'm doing, what exact meaning this word has in this situation is very important. And whenever you are acquiring any knowledge, you need to share it. I have seen people say, no, I don't want to share the knowledge. What I'm going to get? It is not so. So when you are sharing the knowledge, in fact, while doing that, you are also in the process of learning something more from the other person. So on that basis, you would also be, making some types of general laws, or maybe you would be establishing some generalization. Some types of बच्चे को motivation किया. Exams के पहले, you should be knowing what does the child like. So you just make a commitment before exam. Okay, this time if you're passing exams with this particular percentage, so this would be the gift. Okay, so when you do that, you are in a position to get the answer that under certain situations, we need to adopt this particular process. To predict events, sometimes we call this in our language as intuition. ठीक है ना, कभी ऐसा लगता है जैसे जब कोरोना का न्यूज़ मिला था, people were expecting that lockdown would be for a period of 3 months. And I was the person to say, my friends, it will not be for 3 months. It will go for at least 1 year, at least 1 year. And there were the doctors who said it cannot be brought under control till 2025. Now they have valid reasons because they are able to find out different versions of corona entering into the market. And we are able, when you are trying to find out the problem, we also find out what are the reasons, whether there is some relationship between these factors. For example, when income rises, we know our standard of living also will rise. Okay, but we become more conscious because we know when there was very less income, how you had survived. And therefore, you will now start giving more importance to savings. So you will think that as the income is rising proportionately, what you have to do is savings also need to be increased. And while doing this, you develop lot many new concepts and theories. I know many people say that 20% of your salary need to be saved. I'm just giving an example. But I have always said to my students that when you receive salary, you know on an average what is your expenditure. पहला savings करो, बाद में expenditures करो. Otherwise, our funda is पहले खर्चा करो, बचेगा वो savings से. So if you have a target that by this particular time, I should have this huge accumulated amount, in that case, you follow the policy which I'm saying is, when you get salary, first is keep aside a fixed amount for savings, and the balance what is left, you can try to spend on your household or on your personal usage. Okay. Now, this is very important question is how to select your research topic. I said you please do not, come under the influence of anyone who says, nahi, nahi, aap iske upar hi topic karo. I'll give you some few days back. There was a lady who had asked me, I want to do PhD on work-life balance in women's life. I said, कौन सा area में करना चाहती हो? तो बोलती teachers का life में मुझे करना है. Then how are they having balance in their work and personal life? I said, first thing, online भी थोड़ा search करो कि ये work-life balance women's life में इसके ऊपर कितना research हुआ है. So you'll find it is done on teachers, banking, corporate world, government jobs, everywhere it has been done. So what are you doing? Are you going to do any contribution? No. You are not doing any contribution. It is a small type of study you are trying to do to understand that whether women are able to balance their life or not, or whether we need to think of something wherein we are able to say work and home life is balanced. So I said you in the beginning itself, there are a number of questions that would be emerging in your mind. And is that we need to investigate whenever we are coming across with this type of incidences. We need to ask questions to ourselves, or maybe you can ask your friends or some knowledgeable person, as you know, where it was invented, who invented, what it is exactly, how this was invented, when it was invented, and why it was invented. So many things. I just use the word as invented. It could be anything. So unless you don't ask this type of questions to yourself and you're not able to get answers from yourself, that means still the idea of research is not very clear. So this is a continuous cycle. Maybe you may get the answer, but it is a continuous cycle which will go on. Even once you have completed your research, still there will be number of such questions which are going to emerge, and you will feel like, no, I still have to continue with my research work. So guidelines for the project topic when you're planning to select is, first thing you select one topic and have a brainstorming session on that. ठीक है, उसके ऊपर बहुत सारा discussions होना चाहिए. Now when you're having discussion, obviously the people who are with you should also be in a position to have a proper discussion. A challenging discussion need to take place. And then when discussions are happening, you also need to jot down the important points. Yeah, this was the right point said, this was correct. Okay, I can think on this particular point. And on that basis, you prepare some 5 questions. Circulated among your friends. आजकल आप Google फॉर्म में क्वेश्चन बना सकते हो. आप 50 जन को अपने फैमिली ग्रुप में, कम्युनिटी ग्रुप में, सोसाइटी ग्रुप में, उसमें आप दो and see what are the responses. So when you find people are ignorant, they don't know anything about this, or it is something very new, or they're negligent about this particular factor, that means here, this is the area where we need to work out. So always keep your notebook ready. I had been saying this to all my students, some of them who are already present over here, that you need to maintain one diary. Whenever any good thoughts, out of 100, I'm assuming 90 can be good thoughts and 10 cannot be up to the mark. 10 negative thoughts भी रहेंगे. तो जो 9 could be better and 1 could be negative. Let's take like that. Okay. If 9 thoughts which came in your mind and you're putting down in notebook, I assure you, you are definitely going to think on these 9 points. You will also start, doing research. Nowadays, we find out everything from Google. Maybe you may ask these questions to some knowledgeable person, or maybe to your family member or your friend or some professional person for getting the right data. आपको सही आंसर चाहिए, फेक आंसर नहीं चाहिए. Like I gave you example of my grandmother, and I remember this when I spoke this incident to my father. He said because my grandmother had diabetes and she was having high blood pressure, तो उसको irritate होता था. तो irritate होता था, इसके लिए वो मुझे stop करती थी. Now suppose in those days if she said me that she has diabetes, she has blood pressure, just imagine how many questions I would have asked her. So instead of saying all these things, she only decided to say me, please don't shake your legs. But this later on got clarified that what was the reason. तो जब तक आप डिस्कशन नहीं करोगे, आप बातचीत नहीं करोगे, हाँ, आप नॉलेजेबल है, आप अपने ग्रुप में फैमिली मेंबर्स के साथ जब तक आप डिस्कशन नहीं करोगे, तब तक कोई टॉपिक का क्लैरिटी आपको मिलने वाला नहीं. And thing is, you keep on searching, keep on digging the information. What not? Something you can do. You need to visit the library जहाँ पे books मिलता है. Book से देखो, are you getting some relevant topic? Internet पे ढूंढो. And sometimes, you would be knowing that I had read one particular author had written some good book. तो वो author का नाम Google search में डालो, आपको उनकी पूरी list आ जाएगी books. And sometimes you may say, I do not have sufficient time to read the entire book. Need not worry. Sometimes you only want the gist, you get the gist also. लेकिन वो आपको ढूंढना है, कोई ढूंढ कर नहीं देगा. There's a big problem that today we want everything spoon feeding. मैम आप ही बताओ ना क्या टॉपिक करना है, आप ही बताओ ना assumption क्या करना है. You only suggest me some of the books which I should read. It is not so. You only suggest me the topic, absolutely not acceptable. My area of interest, your area of interest, both are different. One of my students approached me some days back. He wanted to do PhD on sports. I said him very clearly, sports is not my domain. Okay, sports is not my domain. If you want to do select some such topics, I can guide you there. I gave him many options. But sports, it is not my area. And therefore, if I am trying to guide someone for sports, I am not trying to do the justice with that person. So see, when we are trying to select a research topic, what is very important is you need to answer so many of such questions. Okay? Research before choosing a topic. थोड़ा एक study करो कि ये topic पे Google search में डालो. Say for example, you want to understand about financial literacy. So you in Google search you type financial literacy hyphen research article. You will get number of research articles. You go through it. Okay, you go through it and you will come to know that each research article was made on certain factors. Now you would be knowing some additional factors on which no one has done any such research. Okay, so when you're doing this rough reading, searching of the topic, you get an idea. Fine. You need to note it down that this particular book when I read, this was done on this particular parameters. This is research I have done by so and so on this parameter. I actually want to do on some other parameter. You need to note it down. थोड़ा फील्ड सर्वे करना है, लोगों से जाके इंटरेक्ट करना है, see whether there is a clarity about a topic to them or not. Okay, then you need to align के currently क्या ट्रेंड चल रहा है और अभी सबसे बढ़िया टॉपिक कौन सा रहेगा जिसके ऊपर किसी ने कुछ काम ही स्टार्ट नहीं किया है. Then your aim should be always to take a genuine problem. Just don't make some imaginary problem. Please, that fake problems have no place in research. Find out what is the topic on which no one has worked. Okay, define it properly. This is what we call it as a research problem. And then from this research problem, you have to think of how to frame the research topic. Keep in mind that research topic cannot go beyond 1 to 2 lines. There are people, they take the research topic for 4 to 5 lines. I knew in one of the center, one student had the title of the research for 5 lines. And I had said to him, beta, ek hi pe research karo. You decide whether you want to do on this product or this product. And also you need to define the area where would you like to do the research. Okay, so we need to limit it. And research जब करते हो ना तो आपके अंदर एक स्पार्क, एक तिनका हमेशा जलना चाहिए जो आपको बोलेगा नहीं काम तो करना ही है. I have no other option. I don't want to skip. Always keep in mind, even your guide should know what exactly you're doing. Okay, the guide should also know, take advice of your guide also. Sometimes your knowledge would be limited. Your guide would try to help you out that, okay, you also need to, make this type of question. You need to go and visit such places wherein you are able to collect the data. आपको information collect करके लाना है, यहाँ पे लाकर उसका sorting करना है, and to see whatever assumptions you're doing will be acceptable or no. So see, first thing is you can select a rough research topic. Okay, if any students want to discuss on this topic, you can say, okay, you can say that I want to do a topic on this. Say for example, startup project, innovative startup project. Some days back, there was a such PowerPoint presentation event. And believe it, the students, they instead of always taking success stories, some of them targeted the failure stories. These were the case studies. And why did startup? Actually, startup क्या होता है? इसके लिए पैसा कहाँ से आता है? What is the process? And we need, how many people you require to start with this project, right? There are a lot many government formalities you will have to complete. So many things. So you just select a topic, उसको और narrow करो, कम करते जाओ. ठीक है, उसमें क्या problem है? I will give you one example. My initial topic for PhD was going to be corporate governance. Fine. So I felt that there need to be transparency in every organization. I read around 50 books on corporate governance, but still I was, having a doubt that whether will the companies cooperate with me, and they will say to me that, ये इतना हम public को openly बताते, इतना नहीं बताते, हमारा policies क्या है? So I ultimately realized that none of the companies is going to give me this data. So ultimately what happened? I decided to change the topic. Yes, and to select another topic, it took another 2 years. A topic on which no one has worked, a topic with reference to Mumbai city, especially with suburbs, wherein I'm seeing people, maximum people to be from the lower middle class family. Then I developed a research questions. I met to some of these ladies, and that gave me a clear idea that yes, this can be my final research title or research problem. And then I started defining that if I want to complete this task in a span of 2 years, my work duration will be divided accordingly. My target was 2 years, but it went for 3 years. To be very honest, I did not keep in my mind that there could be any family contingency also. 8 months my work got delayed because my mother became bedridden. She was hospitalized and she passed away. And then, was in a state of shock. And then my children was, no, you are completing your research work. What define करना है, टाइम फ्रेमिंग करना है, उसके बाद ही आप प्रपोजल लिख सकते हो. I can help you in writing your research proposal, those who are intending to go for PhD. But first thing is you need to find out that जो topic पे आपको PhD करना है, ठीक है, तो उसमें आपने क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आइडेंटिफाई किया. वन. Second is when you need the data, you will be in a position to collect that relevant data also. Sometimes it happens कि research topic तो बहुत अच्छा ढूंढा, लेकिन data कोई नहीं देता है. तो data नहीं मिलेगा तो you are not able to prove your assumptions, you are not able to draw conclusions, nor you are in a position to give some important suggestions. Fine. Going to the next slide. So how to choose your research paper topic? See, don't say I want to select a very simple research topic. Simple research topic का कोई मतलब नहीं, कोई भी मतलब नहीं. इसके लिए एक सही, I have used the word as right research paper topic. Not necessarily what others have done. Say for example in North Mumbai, I will do in South Mumbai. No. Your area of interest matters a lot. Say, for example, there is one girl in this group. She wants to do on certain types of, facilities that are now being given to the teachers. Or why more teachers are nowadays appointed on clock hour basis. I want to study their level of satisfaction. A very good topic. This is known as gig employment. ठीक है ना, आप 1 घंटे में एक जगह पे 1000 कमाते हो, दिन में 6 जगह गए, 6000 महीने का multiply by 25 days, you get 1,50,000, which assistant professors are also not getting it very easily. So your interest matters. Yes, someone would say, अरे ये topic पे तुमको data नहीं मिलेगा. No one will, support you. It will be waste of time. So what you do a small study and see whether your project title and your project is going to be viable or not. Right? So your level of interest matters a lot. Yes, in the initial stage, it is little bit time consuming. It will take many hours. You have to think in a very, deeper way, actually. In depth, आपको सोचना है, in depth. You just cannot frame a topic and say, okay, this is a topic on which I'm going to work. बाद में मालूम पड़ा that ये topic पे हम लोग कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते, इसका data भी नहीं मिलेगा. Just imagine it is pure waste of, one is your precious time, your resources, your energy. Hence, please do not, think. Carefully you need to think that this is something very new on which I can work. Yes, it is little bit, tedious task, but believe it, जब PhD हो जाता है, तो जितनी खुशी जो होती है ना, उतनी खुशी आपको लाइफ में और कहीं नहीं मिलेगी. Initial stage, you're very keen in getting registration. जब registration start होता है, उसके बाद आपका पर्वत climb करने को start होगा. And in a lower part, you will feel very comfortable, but when you're going to a greater height, sometimes people, back out from there. They say, नहीं करना है. वो बैकआउट वाला क्वालिटी नहीं होना चाहिए. If you have taken the decision to jump into the field of research, you will have to come select and do it. Take a very small topic and work out on that. Your level of experience, believe it, I was not a good researcher. In the year 2007, my principal, she was behind me, Dr. Sheila Purohit, and she always used to say, no, you need to do research. So one fine day I went and said to her, Madam, research kaise karne ka kuch guide karo. She said, you select one good topic and write on that, on women empowerment. So everyone's, was talking about financial inclusion. I spoke about health as a tool of women empowerment. So I collected data from newspaper and I was surprised that what are, the problems women are facing, and I wrote in my word. And the other day I just requested our principal, ma'am, can you go through it and guide me? She went and she was surprised. She said me, from where did you get this data? So I said, ma'am, last 10 दिन का Times of India paper से मैंने ये data निकाला. And then she said, okay, now do one thing, you're going and presenting. Where I was asked to go to Sangamner, interior of Maharashtra. और जब मैं वो कॉलेज में गई, मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन हुआ, people appreciated. But when I saw presentation of others, I got the clarity that research ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. मेरा काम research नहीं था. मैंने जो पहला काम किया था ना, it was like an essay writing. But I was able to identify. Correct? Then continuously, started writing some topics on certain, like, why in advertisement, women characters are more given more importance. Even आदमी का product रहेगा तो उधर women character दिखाता है. I did on that. I wanted to understand whether women are aware about succession laws. Likewise, when I started, writing letters and while, writing these articles, I always used to think about who will be the audience. Like succession laws, many are not aware. Today, in fact, someone asked me that, ma'am, can बेटी का शादी हो गया तो father का property से उसको rights मिलेगा, share मिलेगा? I said yes, and that too you will get equal share. Okay, that too you will get. So that's what, you need to understand that सामने मेरा जो audience है, like right now when I am teaching this topic today, I'm speaking on this topic, I know 80% of the members present here, they are new and they want to actually start with research. So if I cover up, 10 slides in 5 minutes, that means there is no clarity of this topic. So think, whom are you going to represent? If I want to give suggestions to government, तो मेरा काम कैसे होना चाहिए? If I want to give suggestions to parents, how I am supposed to, give conclusions and suggestions. These all things we need to understand. On that basis, I will be framing the topic. So coming to literature review, first thing, before you start selecting some research title, I would advise to note down your area of interest. कहीं पे आप note down करो, मुझे कौन से field में ज़्यादा interest है. Whether women have saving habits, more saving habits, or whether women have more spending habits. Okay, I'll make that clarity. Then what I will do is, through Google search, I will put a clause, research articles on women's habits on savings or on spendings. I will get easily 100 articles. I need to read. Now you will say, I will read 100 articles in a day. No. I will keep a target that minimum 1 article and maximum I will read how many? 2 articles to get the clarity of the research work. So when we are talking about review, literature review, many times people think, अरे पीछे जो references दिया ना वो books को अपने को पढ़ने का है, या in short उसका gist बताना है, या कुछ unrelated resources से हम लोग कुछ data निकाल रहे हैं. Okay, or what is very important, it is an argument about what research you are doing and its importance. So let's understand how is literature review defined. Now, very nicely, foreign authors always define or give the definition. The very first one from the University of North South Wales, Australia, says literature review is an examination of research that has been conducted in a particular field of study. Now, obviously, someone has done it. And I want to do this with reference to Mumbai region. or maybe I still want to add some more topics in that research. लेकिन मुझे clarity मिलता है कि इसके ऊपर already someone has done research, someone has drawn theory, someone has also drawn the conclusion. Mr. Hart, he agrees with this notion, but expanded its definition to the selection of available documents and the effective evaluation of these documents in relation to the research being proposed. आप जो रिसर्च प्रपोजल आगे डालोगे उसके बारे में कम से कम आपने 25-30 बुक्स पढ़ी है. When you have read at least 25-30 books, you have read, not only read, you have tried to understand it. You are able to make your proposal in a perfect order. Okay, you know exactly कि अभी तक जो रिसर्च हुआ है वहां पे क्या कंसिडर किया था और मुझे जो रिसर्च करना है उसमें मुझे क्या फाइंड आउट करना है. Already many have founded many things. They have given suggestions to ample number of, their research problems were there. But I have identified some other research problems. So therefore, what I want is, I want to see that there would be effective. I do justice with my topic when I am referring relevant topics written by some other experts. So what is the purpose of literature review? See, when we start reading book, in nowadays we never had laptop, we even didn't had computer, we didn't had even mobile. So we used to sit in the library, read number of books. Okay. And because of that reading of number of different variety of books, we were able to understand that where something was wrong. Okay. या ये प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व नहीं किया गया था या ये नया थियरी बनाया गया था. Okay. And still this type of problems are persisting. Can today we do some research on that? And can we find solution for such problems? This is the main reason for doing literature review. See, first thing is you're attaining a good knowledge of the field of inquiry. You get, you come to know about various facts. You also come to know about various scholars who have done research on that relevant topics. You also understand the methods of, conducting lot many things so that you are able to fulfill your research process. Proposed research is really needed. Okay, I should have clarity कि मुझे क्या research करना है. तभी जाके मैं वो right books को target करूंगी. I will read and I will understand, okay, someone did research on this parameter. I will also do this, but this person has not considered X, Y, Z factors, which I will consider in my research project. Helps to narrow problem. Problem बहुत बड़ा दिखता है, लेकिन उसको छोटा करना हमारा duty है. When we have started doing lot many things, we are even in a position to develop assumptions. We are able to develop research questions, and also maybe there would be more questions for further studies. Please keep in mind, it is not a small-term study. It is a long-term study of interest. When you go for PhD, many times your guide would recommend you 100 books आपको पढ़ना है. 3 महीने में आपको 100 बुक्स पढ़ना है और उसका जिस्ट लिखना है. Okay, gist means you read book of so and so author, which was published in so and so year, and what was the research question of that person, and what was the conclusion or the recommendation given by that particular person. So talking about the literature review process, first thing is you need to select a topic. Yeah, sometimes it may happen कि जो topic मैंने select किया उसके ऊपर already किसी ने काम कर दिया है. So then forget about that topic, think of some other topic. Okay, then you have to, according to the basis of the topic, you need to find out the study material or the books or the research articles on that particular research topics. You need to understand what that person had identified, what was the conclusion drawn, or what were the findings of his or her research. And then on that basis, you need to write your review. So जब literature review हम लिखते हैं तो उसका एक style रहता है. It actually needs another 1 hour to understand. But this is like you read the relevant books. For example, you want to understand rural development. तो आपको रूरल डेवलपमेंट के रिलेटेड जितनी भी बुक्स है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बोलो, कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट बोलो, जो भी बुक्स आपको मिल रही वो आपको सब पढ़ना है. And then you can start, reading with many books that were written by many of the authors, defining according to them what does rural development means, or how educated people can think of going to rural part. Okay, and they not only will think of going to rural part, but they will also think of putting some actions or plans over there so that they are able to uplift. If you see every year, lakhs of crores of people are migrating to city like Mumbai. Fine. Our suggestion to the various government is, why not they develop industries, they provide good hospitals, schooling facilities in their own vicinity so that the people don't leave their own hometown and they come to the cities. See the bitter lesson they learn at the time of COVID, when most of the people even did not have transport facilities to go, trains were shut down. कितने जन पैदल गए, फिर सोचा गांव में अच्छा है, and we have seen people lost their children also, many people lost their life, pathetic condition हो गया था. People who shifted to their native place, from them very few returned back to city like Mumbai. But still they feel that नहीं अपना village है, joint family में रहते हैं, we support each of them. And people also in rural areas, they want many such infrastructure facilities to be provided. Good schools to be there, good colleges to be there. I was very happy recently in the month of November, I'd been to Sangamner after a 2007 visit where I had presented my first research paper, Health as an Important Tool for Women Empowerment. When I went this time, I was so happy. And the principal, Dr. Arun Gaikwad, he said to me, Madam, मैंने बोला सर आपका कैंपस तो बहुत बड़ा है, पूरा एक पर्टिकुलर सबब मुंबई का आ जाएगा. To go from one college to another college, walking was not comfortable. We were using car. And he said that, Madam, हमारे पास जो हॉस्टल है, उसमें 2000 लड़कियां हैं. I was very happy. I said, sir, from 2007, when I have come back in 2023, 16 साल में मैंने बहुत changes देखा, and I'm glad that the organization is doing a lot. They have found out the potentials. They have made villagers independent, self-sufficient. They identified what was the problem. People who are working as guards or or a security guard or as peon, the housewives of these people have been asked to work in hostel. Khana banane ka kaam karo. Now they are very happy. They are generating income. So need to identify. आप ऐसे नहीं बस मुझे रिसर्च करना है, जल्दी एनरोलमेंट करना है, एक आर्टिकल प्रेजेंट करना है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Today one student asked me, ma'am, एक रिसर्च अगर अच्छा आर्टिकल भी मुझे लिखना है. He was from BAF and they are going for some research convention. I said, you need at least 3 months. At least 3 months. You cannot collect data in one day. You cannot analyze in one day. पहले तो pilot study करो so that you come to know that you are selected appropriate topic. That's a need of art. If you do that, you are on the path of research. So now the session is open for question and answer rounds. You have still 4 more days. And the other speakers are also eminent speakers who would bring more, they would be throwing more light on how this process is asked to be carried. So I'm keeping this session open for question and answer round. I'm able to see smiling faces of some participants. I think a spark has been ignited in you to follow or start with the research work.
Ma'am, I'd like to ask a question.
Surely, ma'am.
Ma'am, when finalizing the research topic, so, sometimes it happens that we get a little confused as to, because it seems कि इसके ऊपर already बहुत काम हो चुका है. तो जैसे अभी किसी लेवल पे काम हुआ है और उसके आगे हमें उसी काम को लेके जाना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर एक पेपर है, हमने बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एक पेपर पढ़ा और उसके अंदर कुछ ऐसा कंस्ट्रक्ट निकल के आया है जिसपे अभी तक हमको कोई काम नहीं दिख रहा है, So how can we take it forward from a paper to a thesis?
You can give the credit from where you're taking the work. Okay. You can take the credit from where you're taking the work, one, and you can specify in your research work that your work is going to be on certain parameters which were not being covered. Okay. लेकिन उसके पहले भी एक छोटा study करो before you start with the work, because if you completed 75% of the work and you now realize that lot of the work was done on this particular area, now my time is wasted और मैंने एक ही constraint find किया है, तो वो constraint पे भी देखो किसी ने काम किया है कि नहीं किया. Getting, and if no one has done and you are able to get appropriate data, you are in a position to even find out that yes, this is a problem, unidentified problem, unsolved problem, for which I can generate some theory, I can give some better suggestions, then you can carry forward. Otherwise, it will be pure waste of resources.
Ma'am, I'd like to ask a supplementary question to this. Suppose we see that suppose my interest area is X, and I see that a lot of work on X is, research has been done, but most of them have used a qualitative format of research. So can I move on to a quantitative research and justify कि इस एरिया पे ज्यादातर क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च हुई है, अब मैं इसका क्वांटिटेटिव वे से इसका इम्पैक्ट देखना चाह रही हूँ, समथिंग can we do that kind of work?
Surely you can do, but again I will say a pilot study is must before you start with the entire work. Because while doing a pilot study, you will come to know कि मेरा quantitative type का study हो सकता है या नहीं हो सकता. So do a small study, a small research. You know, when even when you're trying to collect data, you can ask some of your learners to carry on this work, or maybe you take some 10 or 15 people to understand whether you will be able to get that relevant data or not. और एक बात है, डेटा बहुत सारे जब भी हम कलेक्ट करते हैं, when we are sending Google form, I believe most of the time the data that you get is not accurate. It is a misleading data. Okay, so when you are collecting face to face, this is what I did in my research. मेरे टाइम पे Google form भी था, मैंने Google form नहीं use किया. Okay, I did not do that, but what I did, I used to go personally to collect data. Along with me, I kept my students. I trained them किस तरह से क्वेश्चन पूछना है. इनका बॉडी लैंग्वेज देखो, बॉडी लैंग्वेज देखने के बाद ही आपको समझ में आएगा ये लोग अपने को डेटा सही दे रहे कि गलत दे रहे. And believe it, it took us only 1 month for collecting data from 125 people. So a small study is must, otherwise it is pure waste. इसके लिए जब जो लोग PhD के लिए enrollment करते हैं ना, मैं openly उनको बोलती हूँ. One of my neighbors, she approached me. मुझे PhD करना है. She felt that it is very easy. I said, no, beta, you at least write 10 research paper. आप 10 रिसर्च पेपर लिखो. मैंने उनको वो भी बोला, आप रिसर्च पेपर लिखकर मेरे को भेजो, मैं आपको चेक करके भी बताऊं. 1 महीना हो गया, अभी तक रिसर्च पेपर नहीं हुआ. बट पीपल थिंक इट इज लाइक डूइंग एमकॉम. आपने एनरोल किया, 2 साल में आपका 2 साल 3 साल में PhD हो जाएगा. इट इज नॉट सो. इसके लिए PhD के लिए ये भी एक क्राइटेरिया होना चाहिए कि आपके कम से कम 10 अच्छे रिसर्च आर्टिकल पब्लिश होने चाहिए. Not writing. I said, my first 5 papers were like an essay writing. I am saying openly. First 5 papers which I have written were very, very simple language. Then I understood इसका ये format रहता है, ये format रहता है. फिर मैंने UGC का research के लिए apply किया. Before doing PhD, I had applied for UGC minor research and I got sanction of 85,000 rupees. Then ये research करने के 2 साल research किया ना, तब भी मुझे मालूम पड़ गया कि PhD इतना आसान नहीं है. इसमें और मेहनत करने का, ये तो कुछ भी नहीं. तो दैट इज, जब तक हम बोलते ना कि नहीं करते, आजकल बच्चे लोग को गाइड मिल जाता है, बच्चे सोचते गाइड ही सब मेरा काम करेगा. सॉरी बॉस, गाइड इज ओनली गोइंग टू गाइड यू. डोंट बी अंडर दैट परसेप्शन. गाइड ही मेरा काम करेगा. आप 10 रिसर्च पेपर लिखो. व्हाई आर वी सेइंग सो? इट इज फॉर योर बेनिफिट, to build confidence that you will be able to do marvelous work when you're doing PhD. वो काम आपका बहुत बढ़िया रहेगा. सिर्फ अच्छा, दूसरी बात, पहले एक दो पेपर आप किसी के साथ मिलके लिखते हो चलता है, हमेशा मिलके मत लिखो, इंडिविजुअली करो, इंडिविजुअली प्रेजेंट भी करो. And doing presentation, go and attend conferences. Sometimes you'll find really people have done good work. And it gives you a light. हाँ, मुझे भी ऐसे ही कुछ करना चाहिए था ना, ये मैंने नहीं किया. अगर मैंने भी किया होता तो मेरा काम एकदम सही डायरेक्शन में जाता. That's the reason, many conferences are happening. Go and attend the conferences. चलो आप पेपर प्रेजेंट नहीं कर रहे हो, एक बार जाकर वहां पर देखो लोग कैसे रिसर्च पेपर प्रेजेंट करते, आपको एक आइडिया आएगा how they have collected data. And while doing that, sometimes you may find, अरे इसने ये particular aspect cover नहीं किया, I can think of doing on that. You prepare one research article on something like that you need. I hope Swati have answered your query.
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome, dear.
Here, I would like to say something, Hema ma'am. This is a true, it is a fact that every researcher's first 5 papers will be definitely kind of a essay.
Correct.
And I am sure that many of participants will get agree with that. Initially, if you will see my 2 research papers also, that was a kind of a essay only.
Yeah,
And
that's
gradually we came to know the format and
Format,
during
correct.
MPhil and PhD. And now it is thoroughly we came to know Google is there, internet is helping us, many softwares are there. When I did my PhD, there was no role of statistician. But now,
I still remember now, I'm just interrupting. What Bhavika ma'am is saying is absolutely right. But when we have started writing that like an essay, it was a baby step that we have taken.
we
Or
used
कहते
to
हैं-
read 10
Yes, we
books.
used to read. Yes,
Taking one
perfectly.
line from here, 2 lines from there, one paragraph. In that way, we have formed those essays.
Essays, absolutely.
And I remember
Absolutely
at that time when I started, microfinance was a hot topic.
Very hot
Yes.
topic.
Everyone used to write on microfinance.
Everyone went for
Everyone
my
used to write on
yes.
microfinance.
Financial institutions, microcredit, microfinance.
Yes, yes,
बहुत
yes,
बहुत
yes.
popular हो गया था. But there are many such topics. That's the reason I said that you need to write research articles. And obviously there are people who will guide you. I give credit to my former principal, Dr. Sheila Purohit. I think if she would have not forced me, I would have not reached. From 2007, I started with writing, and it boosted confidence in me. So I'm today in contact with her, and she says, "No, you put in your efforts. तुमने मेहनत किया, इसके लिए तुमको मिला." I said, "No, ma'am. अगर आपने force नहीं किया होता, मुझे नहीं मिलता था." So it is very important that we need to start writing some good articles. Let it be copied, as rightly pointed out by Bhavika ma'am. 1 line from here, 2 lines from there, 1 paragraph from there. And today we are having internet facility, Google, wherein you can get many information. And then after that, after writing, you need to convert it into your own language so that there is no someone pointing out that plagiarism happens.
Yes, Google means I mean to say e-books and e-resources.
Yes. So आप उसमें से देख के लिखो, अपने words में लिखो. And this is what I say, that you read 10 times and then you write what you have understood. So when you do that, it is your own creativity. Here there won't be any claim of plagiarism. So it will not happen in a day. It will not happen in a day. As we say, Rome was not built in a day. But persistent efforts when you put, definitely you are going to become a good researcher. And believe it, future is of researchers. Future is of researchers. Companies, they need researchers. Organizations, political parties, हर जगह पे आज की तारीख में researchers चाहिए. Even managing information system, even if you do that, you become a part researcher. Yes, any other questions? Thank you, Bhavika ma'am, for sharing your views also.
Yes.
Hey,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we select a research topic on which there is very little literature or on which there is very little information on the net?
I'll give you one example of my friend. she had selected the question that you raised, a topic on such a question, and she found it was very difficult to get a data. Primary data भी नहीं मिल रहे हैं, secondary data तो online resources में है ही नहीं, and she actually got registered, but then she has to quit that. It wasted her 3 years. It wasted her 3 years. So that's the reason that when we start with research work, we also need to see that whether that relevant information is available or not.
Okay.
Getting that is very important. So always, and that
Content
too,
should be there.
yeah, you should get some
Some kind of
information.
content. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
some form of information should be there. And sometimes it may happen that it may not be available in India, but this type of whatever topic you're selecting is more applicable in foreign countries. But you are doing study of that with reference to India, then that topic will be of no use. I hope, Shubha ma'am, I have cleared your doubt.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
Yes, Padmaja madam.
मैम हाउ मेनी ऑब्जेक्टिव्स रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द पीएचडी, बिकॉज हमने बहुत सारे ऑब्जेक्टिव लेते हैं तो वो थोड़ा सा क्या बोलते हैं उसमें 3 से 4 साल लगते जाते हैं. हाउ मेनी मैक्सिमम ऑब्जेक्टिव रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द पीएचडी?
See, one thing is there, the problem that you have identified on that, it can be 2 or 3 also. But I have seen that many times people take 10, 20 objectives. So when you do that, it is time consuming. Sometimes you are not even knowing whether we are on the right path, whether we are getting right information, and whether we will be really be in a position to answer or, find the answers for the research objectives that we have pointed out. I had taken around 10 objectives in my PhD, and it was being brought down to 5 objectives. The guides were very clear that don't take this. They were very clear. They had valid explanation also. So when you make the proposal, this clarity will be there. And guides are there. They will say, don't take so many objectives. Sometimes even one objective is more than enough. मैंने एक PhD का thesis देखा 75 pages. University में गई थी when I wanted to see whether someone has done PhD on the topic which I am trying to register. And while doing that, I could see a very small book which was of 75 pages. In fact,
pages is
only 75 pages thesis. हमारे thesis 400 pages के हो गए थे. वो बंदे का thesis 75. And some years back, I met one professor from Cornell University. I asked him that suppose even if I get one sample, can I do a research on that? Yes, he said you can do it. It's in the form of a case study. It is in the form of a case study. देखो अभी हम लोग को बहुत सारे गाइड्स बोलते हैं 500 सैंपल लो, 1000 सैंपल लो, फिर हम लोग डेटा को मैनिपुलेट करते हैं. But he was very clear that, madam, what is your topic? And if you are able to do it on that, by taking only one person also as a case study, even that is your valid PhD.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I have not seen chat box. What are the messages? Shubha ma'am, I have answered your query, ma'am. Could you please guide us for writing articles as well? Yes, but you're from which college? Sana Sheikh. Sana Sheikh is here. She has dropped this question that how to write articles. If you're there very much, you can take my contact number. Okay, you can organize such session in your college wherein you get a guidelines about how to write, how to check plagiarism. Okay, someone has said, is it compulsory to publish an article in UGC Care Journal for submission of thesis? Yes, now they are making it mandatory. They are making it mandatory. Just a minute. Huh? They are making it mandatory because any article will not get so easily published in UGC Care Journal. Always, the properly constituted research articles. Truly a research article is always welcome to be published in Scopus, in UGC Care Journal and so on. Whole procedure के लिए please आप एक बार ऐसा कोई सेशन जहाँ पे होता है वो आप अटेंड कीजिए, लेकिन बिफोर यू आर प्लानिंग टू गेट रजिस्टर्ड फॉर पीएचडी और टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द प्रोसेस फॉर पीएचडी, स्टार्ट राइटिंग रिसर्च आर्टिकल। आप रिसर्च आर्टिकल लिखते लिखते आप लोगों के कांटेक्ट में आओगे एंड यू विल कम टू नो वेयर टू रजिस्टर, व्हेन टू रजिस्टर, व्हाट इज द प्रोसेस एंड सो। I hope Kanabar I have answered your your query that was raised. Any other questions? Because of that, lots of fake launch journals are there. Yes, yes, absolutely, I agree. If you have written research paper process after that, you can see that either if any colleges are trying to publish papers in UGC Care Journal, you try to find out whether it is original UGC Care Journal or it is cloned journal. If it is cloned journal, do not get your article published. But if it is original UGC Care, you can put forward. If it is selected, it will get published. But nowadays it is mostly happening, or even your college librarian can help you to publish your papers in such journals. Many times they get published free of cost. This Akhilesh sir, this is my first lecture. From tomorrow onwards, you have other resources who will be, enlightening you with many more aspects of research. Over to you, Shubha ma'am. I think now there are no more questions.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I would request Assistant Professor Tina Kodian, ma'am, to kindly propose a vote of thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Shubha ma'am. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Nyan Ganga Education Trust Degree College of Arts, Commerce and Science, I, Assistant Professor Tina Kodian, the Accuracy Coordinator, would like to extend my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you for your active participation and invaluable contributions on the day one of our faculty development program on research methodologies and techniques. Today's session focusing on the fundamental aspects of research, such as introduction to research, topic selection for research, and the review of literature, have provided us with a solid foundation upon which to build our understanding of the research process. We have delved into the intricate nuance of crafting meaningful research questions, identifying literature review, and laying the groundwork for scholarly inquiry. I would like to express our deepest appreciation to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Hema Mehta ma'am, Associate Professor at Tolani College of Commerce, for the insightful presentation, thought-provoking discussions, and unwavering commitment to the academic excellence. Her expertise and guidance have been instrumental in enriching our understanding of the research landscape and equipping us with the necessary tools to navigate its complexities. Furthermore, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our beloved principal, Dr. Bhavika Karkera ma'am, for providing immense support to make this FDP a successful one. I extend my gratitude to all the participants for your active engagement and enthusiasm throughout the session. Your thoughtful questions and contributions have made our discussion more dynamic and meaningful. As we reflect on the insights gained and lessons learned today, let us carry forward this momentum into the remainder of our FDP journey. Let us remain curious, open-minded, and collaborative as we continue to explore the diverse methodologies and techniques that shape the research process. Once again, thank you everyone who has contributed to making the day one of our FDP a resounding success. We look forward to your continued participation and meaningful contributions in the days ahead. Thank you one and all. Once again, everyone, please fill the feedback form for today's session. It has been come in the chat box. I hope the feedback has come.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to all. Wishing you all a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much.
ma'am.
So I take the permission to leave this session. Thank you.